Have you noticed that the harder you try to start a conversation, the faster it dies? You say, "Hey, how are you?" And within seconds, it's over. Meanwhile, someone else walks into the same room, says only a few words, and suddenly everyone listens. It's not that they're better looking, funnier, or more confident. It's something deeper. When they speak, the air changes, their words have weight. And the secret isn't about talking more, it's about saying less, but meaning every word. The Stoics understood this over 2,000 years ago. Presence is far more powerful than performance. Today on Save Yourself, I'll show you 6 Stoic phrases and 1 timeless mindset that make people naturally gravitate toward you without pretending, manipulating, or performing. And trust me, the 4th one is the most misunderstood of all. Principle 1. Tell me more about that. 4 simple words that open doors most people never even see. Imagine someone says, "I've been learning guitar." What do most people do? They turn it into a competition. "Oh yeah, I played guitar in college," or "You should try this method I used." Suddenly, the focus shifts from the other person to themselves. The door to connection closes, and the spotlight returns to ego. Now, imagine you simply say, "Tell me more about that," and then you stop talking. You listen, not to reply, not to sound smart, but to truly understand. That's where real connection begins. Most people spend their lives waiting for someone who genuinely listens. When they finally meet that person, they never forget it. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening isn't passive, it's presence. It tells others, "You matter enough for me to be silent." People don't walk away thinking, "That person was interesting." They think, "I felt interesting when I talked to them." That's what makes them want to see you again. Principle 2. I don't know. 3 words that almost no one has the courage to say. When someone asks your opinion on something you don't understand, the instinct is to pretend, to sound clever, to say something that sounds right. But pretense always shows. The tone feels off. The eyes look for approval, and trust fades. Now picture someone calm enough to say, "I don't know," without apology. That honesty changes the atmosphere, because if they're honest about what they don't know, you can trust what they do. Socrates understood this when he said, "I know that I know nothing." It wasn't false humility, it was wisdom. Knowledge begins where arrogance ends. Insecure people need to appear informed about everything. Secure people are at peace, admitting they're not. Saying, "I don't know," isn't weakness, it's clarity. And that clarity commands respect. Principle 3. That sounds hard. When someone opens up about something painful, stress, loss, failure, our instinct is to fix it. "You should try this. When it happened to me, I did that." We mean well, but what they hear isn't empathy, it's judgment. Instead, say, "That sounds hard." You're not solving it, you're acknowledging it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Most people do the opposite. They rush to fix others while excusing their own flaws. But real strength is gentle. When you say, "That sounds hard," you give someone permission to feel without defending it. And in that stillness, people start to heal. Not because you gave advice, but because you gave presence. They don't need your solution. They need your silence. And that silence can change everything. Principle 4. The power of silence. This is the hardest one and the most misunderstood. Most people fear silence. The moment there's a pause, they panic. They fill it with meaningless words or nervous laughter. But silence isn't failure. Silence is strength. Watch someone who's comfortable with it. They speak rarely, but when they do, everyone listens. Their silence before speaking signals that what's coming next matters. Seneca said, "Silence is a lesson learned through many sufferings." Those who have faced themselves no longer fear quiet, because silence isn't empty, it's full of attention, awareness, and power. When you stop running from silence, you stop running from yourself. You think clearer, listen deeper, and your words begin to carry weight. You no longer speak to fill space, you speak to deliver meaning. And that's when people lean in before you even open your mouth. Principle 5. I appreciate you. 3 words more powerful than thank you, because thank you recognizes an action. I appreciate you recognizes a person. It says, I see who you are. And that changes everything. Marcus Aurelius began each morning by reflecting on the people around him, not for what they did, but for the kind of humans they were. He understood that recognizing virtue in others strengthens virtue in ourselves. So when someone shows loyalty, consistency, or kindness, say it. I appreciate you. Not often, but sincerely. In a world obsessed with productivity, being the one who truly sees others is revolutionary. Principle 6. No. The hardest word to say, and the most liberating. People ask for your time, your energy, your attention. And even when you don't want to, you say yes, out of guilt or fear of disappointing them. But every time you say yes to something meaningless, you say no to something sacred, your peace, your focus, your growth. Epictetus wrote, "First, learn the meaning of what you say, then speak. Every yes has a cost. If your yes means everything, it means nothing." People who've mastered this pause before they answer, and when they say no, they mean it without apology. That kind of clarity commands respect. Boundaries don't push people away, they filter them. They repel those who only wanted your availability and attract those who respect your value. These 6 Stoic principles, curiosity, honesty, empathy, silence, appreciation, and boundaries, aren't tricks. They're reflections of character. Be curious enough to listen, humble enough to say, I don't know, gentle enough to validate, calm enough to embrace silence, grateful enough to recognize others, and strong enough to protect your time. The Stoics understood. Attraction isn't about adding more. It's about subtracting what's unnecessary. The noise, the need to impress, the fear of rejection. The moment you stop performing, people finally start paying attention, not just to your words, but to who you are when you speak them. If this message from Save Yourself shifted how you see communication, leave a comment below. Which of these 6 Stoic phrases will you practice in the next 24 hours? And if you're ready to keep mastering calm, presence, and self-discipline, subscribe to Save Yourself, where true strength begins within.